In this video, I'm going to take you through my 4 exam day predictions for the ACCA SBL examination for the pre-seen information from June 2026. That's for the company Denis and Koko DKK. My name is James, and if you'd like access to my exclusive SBL notes you can see above me that have helped students around the world to pass their examination, just click the link in my bio or down in the description. You can download a copy yourself. I'm also delighted to say I'm affiliated and associated with Astranti, and they offer mock examinations and pre-seen analysis packs specifically based on Denis and Koko DKK for the June 2026 sitting. And if you'd like to check those out, again, click the link in my bio or down in the description. And they're definitely going to help you to pass. And for pure transparency, as always, if you were to purchase anything, I'd be entitled to a small percentage, which goes to supporting the channel. As always, a massive, huge thank you, and a small caveat at the start of this video. I've not been in touch with the SBL markers or the examiner or anything. These are my thoughts as to if I was in your position doing my SBL exam, what would I be sort of having a bit of a hunch and a sort of, a little bet to myself going, I fancy that to come up. Well, number one has to be a digital transformation or a sort of technology strategy kind of change on there. Now, what you need to do is go down to page 6. This is where we're talking about the technology development within the industry. I'll even put my mouse on it for you on the right-hand side. Can link into SWOT opportunity points on here and PESTLE technology points. But really, the key things I've got down in my notes for elements that you could discuss, again, if this was to be tested, we've got the online booking systems that could be revolutionized within the industry on there. We've got SMS reminders, the salon management software, also the augmented reality applications as well. And lastly, loyalty programs. Again, all harnessing technology to the advantage of the salons that were given within the requirement in Kayland on there. And the reason why I just think it's just got so many, so much room to be talking about. Well, first of all, you can see they've got an innovation and development section where technology is really prominent. But if you go down to page 10, further down in your actual notes on here, this is where we're actually given the full service from start to finish. So students are actually being told, look, this is where, if you're a client, where you'd be going from start to finish on there. And you can actually pinpoint where the technology strategy and digital transformation could be implemented. And then just below that, you'll see on page 10, we're actually told about DKK's current weaknesses and where the digital transformation could be implemented. So as you can see on page 10, where my mouse is on the right-hand side, we've got paper booking systems, no online booking available, no online retail sales on there, actual manual inventory systems, and also limited uses of social media, where if you have technology and the right analytical software on there, you can actually track to see which customers are maybe buying certain products on there or what time they're visiting. All these different elements, I think it really has got so much to talk about in terms of a digital transformation. And if I was a betting man, linking it to some of the SBL theories on there and models that, again, you would have to take the information from the pre-seen materials and apply it to the models. I've got down in my notes something maybe on the lines of a SWOT analysis or potentially a value chain analysis application of those theories. So that is my exam day prediction number 1. Digital transformation / a sort of technology strategy that we could discuss. Number 2 now on here. I'm thinking for this a sort of workforce strategy linked into the issues they're having with retaining talent and maybe linking it into human resources, HR on there. What you need to do first of all is head up to page 5, as this is where it tells us in terms of the actual whole business plan on here that the model, as you can see on the right-hand side for the critical success factors, is based on highly skilled staff in an industry where we have labor shortages. That is one of the challenges that we're finding within the industry, as you can see on the bottom left-hand side on there. This is where we're actually told that currently more than half of businesses have unfilled vacancies. You can see if you've downloaded my notes, and hairdressers are leaving to set up their own businesses on there. So practically speaking for DKK, they're training up these highly skilled hairdressers who are dealing with premium clients, there could be issues in terms of progression in their role, what they're actually being asked to do as well. And therefore they're going, well, I've got all the skills. I'm just going to go set up my own salon on there. Why wouldn't I? So in terms of actually being based on that, we've got to be considering the staff shortages, vacancies that are difficult to actually fill, those hairdressers that are leaving for competitors, as I talked about, and also, final point to note, clients actually following stylists on there. So if you've been having your hair cut by the same person for a number of years, you kind of go to yourself, well, I want to stick with that person. So if they go to another place, you are more likely to actually follow them on there. Now, in terms of other areas that this could link into, you need to head down to page 8, and I touched about HR at the start of the video. Page 7 on the right hand side, we do have a human resource director in charge of all of the actual stylists on there and the hairdressers, so be sure to refer to that person within the board structure. But going down to page 8 now, you need to be considering, in terms of the Hairdressing Standards Association, actually, well, what are we dealing with here in terms of the importance of skilled staff to DKK? Now, expert hairdressers that we've got on here, as you can see on the left-hand side, what do they actually do? Well, we give personalized advice, customers colouring and giving the greatest care, very specialised, top quality, premium, all the stuff that you'd be thinking about when it comes to DKK, you'll need to relay in your answer. And with this, you've got to be saying to yourself, well, we've got expert hairdressers who have mandatory qualifications. They've got to do CPD on top of it as well. And this is where I think if it was to link into maybe one of the theories in the SBL syllabus, possibly Hertzberg's motivational theory with those hygiene factors versus the motivational factors. And the last thing, if you were tested on something to do with the staff, page 12 on the right-hand side, linking to the client retention and staff satisfaction. Yes, it's dropped in the last year. However, it is still a positive figure as to 83% for staff satisfaction, 81% for clients on there. Still pretty good, I would say, especially 4 in 5 clients are retained within the organization. So that is our workforce strategy linked into talent retention and HR on there. Now, coming to my exam day number 3 area that I think has definitely got legs to be tested, and that links into sustainability, ESG, and they absolutely love it in SBL, something on the lines of an ethical strategy, overlapping with a variety of different areas for you to be aware of. So when it comes to the environment, look on page 6 that you can see on the right-hand side, where the industry environmental problems are not just one area, it's a variety of different areas, such as we've got water on there, we've got electricity, chemicals, recycling usage. We're highlighting this in a variety of different ways, and it's highly topical if you've actually been considering this from a perspective, if you've had a look through some of the technical articles that are available on ACCA's website. And linking to this, we have growing customer expectations. They're becoming more conscious. It's linking into some of the KPIs, and sustainable hair care brands is a lot more of a growing factor that they need to be aware of when it comes to the marketplace. Now, why is this a factor that I think could come up? Well, number one, as we all know, on there, we are continually told, and it is, of course, that sustainability is a major factor within the accounting sector and globally on there, especially with the new IFRS S1 and S2 standards that could link into it. And that's where, as well, if you have a look on page 11, we've got sustainability risk and included in the company values as well. We are told about sustainability in both of those areas. So you can link it into a variety of different areas within the actual pre-C materials. And lastly, if it was to be considered with application to some of the models and theories, Pestle is, of course, a good shout on there for environmental points. Possibly Mendelow's matrix as well. We're talking about a variety of different stakeholder groups now. But that's where, again, if it was to be tested, I think it would overlap, like you can see on page 7 there. We're given some key stakeholders, internal, external. If Mendelow's was to be tested, I think you'd definitely apply that on there. So that's my exam day tip number 3 for my predictions of sustainability, ESG, and something ethically based as well. Now, our exam day tip number 4 for a prediction is DKK's actual premium competitive position in itself. So the main reason here why I think it has definitely got a lot of things you could talk about is, first of all, it's a major strategic issue for the organization. So can DKK, this is the key question, maintain its ethos, its brand, its heritage of being around for 40 years, as you can see from the background information on page 7, but then also having the facts that, as you can see on the right-hand side on page 8 where my mouse is, we've got lots of competitors now successfully replicating some, if not all, aspects that DKK is offering. So that's the issue they've got, that they've got this premium service that they're offering. Competitors are seeing that it's great, and therefore they're saying, oof, I want a piece of that pie. So in terms of the key points for you to get down, especially on the brand position on page 8 on the right-hand side, is we've got a strong premium position. The brand, of course, itself has been around for 40 years, well established. We've got a wealthy, loyal customer base, premium pricing, luxury salons, and also, I think it should be a bit of a compliment that the competitors are trying to replicate it, because that obviously means they're doing something really, really well. Now, what are the issues in terms of the competitive position now? It's a case of on there, you need to go back up to page 2 where the examiner absolutely loves this in the actual answers that they mark, is applying aspects from the pre-seed materials, the key facts and key figures. So looking at the market structure where my mouse is on here, you've got to be considering and talking about that we've got a fragmented industry, intense competition, low barriers to entry, and also I've touched on the risk register earlier, competition is a major factor and issue. When you come to the market structure, again, when we're looking at theories on here, you've got to apply some of the key facts and figures, and those 2 to 3 paragraphs in the market structure, I think, are one of those things that if you can remember those ahead of your examination, or at least know where they are, that we're told on here, as you can see, that it employs just under 1% of the working population, 99% of the hairdressing businesses are just simply one salon, and over 98% of hairdressing businesses have revenue of less than 500,000. I think that is some key facts and figures that you could apply in a variety of different areas on your exam day, and I just have them in the back of my mind going, yes, I can put that into a variety of different areas, and that is definitely going to help me out. The last point on here I want to make is coming up to the notes I've got up at the top here, where the theory that I think it could link into with the premium competitive position is Porter's 5 forces on there. I mean, let me just read them off for you. Competitive rivalry, supplier power, buyer power, threat of substitution, and threat of new entry. I don't have a crystal ball, but if you were to ask me which is my favourite theory, if there is such a thing in SBL, that I think could be applied, just looking on here, so we've got the highly fragmented market, many competitors, strong competition for competitive rivalry, supplier power, so dependence on those premium suppliers, imported products and tools, the buyer power, customers can switch between salons, as we've been told they actually do, clients following other hairdressers. Threats of substitution, we're told about social media, you can do online tutorials, the sort of home colouring kits on there. And lastly, threat of new entry, those low barriers as we've talked about. We're told in the pre-seed materials about low startup costs, limited regulation, and skilled stylists are actually opening up their own salon. So that is why my exam day prediction number 4 has to be about DKK's premium competitive position on there. Well, that takes you through my full video, and if you'd like to download a copy of my exclusive pre-seed material notes, click the link in my bio or in the description to get a copy yourself. I'd also recommend you check out those Astranti mock papers and pre-seed analysis packs. They are definitely going to help you to get the 50 plus, and make sure you subscribe and like. I really appreciate all the support because more videos are on the way. So I'll see you on the other side now for another SBL video for the June 2026 sitting. So thanks very much.